Hello there. Let's look at this question. Which diagram best describes the classification for each set of numbers? Let's start off by circling or underlining our important information. So we have which diagram best describes the classification for each set of numbers. I really want to emphasize the best describes and classification. So we have several diagrams, and what we need to do is we need to consider what we know about numbers. So when I think about a set of numbers, if I start with the earliest set of numbers that I can remember, I probably remember starting to count from 1 through 10. So I started learning 1, 2, 3, those types of numbers. So let's write some of those down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way to infinity. Did I include any other type of number? Not yet. These right here are called the natural numbers. Now let's talk about what's missing there. As we continue, we need to think about there is a number in front of the 1, but we had not considered that when we first started counting. So we have to extend the set. There is a bigger set that includes the number 0. This is called the whole numbers. The whole numbers include all of these numbers in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all of those, and the number 0. That is why the natural number box or circle is always inside the whole number 1, because all of those numbers are included inside and are also whole numbers. So now let's think, are those all of the numbers that we know? What other kind of number can you think of? Absolutely. Very good. What about negative numbers? Very good. So for negative numbers, we have numbers like -7, -5, -3, -1, and so forth. Do you know what those types of numbers are? Yes, they are integers. I'm going to write it here. So integers is a bigger subset because it includes 0 and all whole numbers, and whole numbers includes all natural numbers. So we see that the set of numbers is getting bigger, and we don't have to rewrite all the numbers because we just let the other subset live inside the bigger subset, and we're including them. So let's see, can we think of one more type of number or a couple of other types of numbers that we have not thought about yet? Oh, that's correct. We have not talked about fractions. So we can have fractions, we can have decimals. So we can have, for example, -1.2, or maybe 1/2, or -1/5, or even a repeating decimal like 0.33 repeating. All of these would be called rational numbers. We know a lot of kinds of numbers, don't we? Do you think there's more numbers out there? Of course there is. That's why I love math so much. We are never done learning. But these are the ones that we have learned about so far. So let's look back at what we have created. We have created our own description of sets and subsets to classify numbers. So we had natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, and rational numbers. Remember, natural numbers are only positive, and then they don't have fractions or decimals. Whole numbers include the number 0 and all of the natural numbers. Integers include all of the whole numbers and their opposites, the negatives, and then also 0. So you see it's getting bigger and bigger. And then finally, with the rational numbers, we include the ones that are in between those whole numbers and those integers, like fractions and decimals, whether they are positive or negative. So let's go ahead and look at these choices and select the one that matches ours. So they only represented 3 sets of numbers. They did not represent natural numbers. So we need to make sure that we have whole numbers, the smallest subset, inside integers, inside rational numbers. So the correct answer is yes, B. What is wrong with letter A? Absolutely. They switched the whole numbers and the integers. Can you imagine if I could think of an integer like if I had picked an integer -7? Well, it looks good at the beginning, but then I'm saying that -7 is also a whole number because it's inside the circle of whole numbers. Is that true? No, it's not. This one is the one that looks different from the other ones. And what I see here that is not going to be the best representation is that because remember what we said about whole numbers? So there can never be any numbers here that are not in here. So this is not the best representation. And then this one, uh-oh, they put them backwards, didn't they? So that is wrong. Okay, students, it's time for you to try one on your own.